Hi, I'm Dr. Kumaran Rajaram from Nanyang Business School from the Division of SMO, Strategy Management and Organization. I currently teach the course Management Principles, Skills and Competencies. Our concern, or rather my concern as a course leader, is what are we doing this course for? So since it is about training managers for the future as leaders, I think it's very important for us to understand the learning objective where we are training them more on competencies, applied learning. Now, can I achieve that with this current assessment? Flipped classroom, as we all know, is basically about having the learning or the contents outside the class. And then when students come to the class, they look or explore or get them engaged in terms of what I call as applied learning. Now, the reason why I've adopted flipped classroom as a module leader for the course is that by and large, what can we do in terms of getting our students more engaged, getting them think deeply, critically, and have peer learning, which ultimately would enhance their learning process and get them more, take away more as applied knowledge. Now, why animations? I think by and large, we need to understand how to engage the students. If we look at engagement, we are actually making the contents go outside the class. So as learners, if we want learners or anyone to be engaged in learning, then we need to think creatively and reflect on how we can have the materials, number one, exciting, if I may quote and unquote, exciting. And perhaps, secondly, engaging. So what do I mean by engaging? Whether learners would like to listen and probably do the online learning spontaneously. And we are really talking about millennials here, by and large. Now, as you know, research evidence shows that millennials have a very short span of attention. Now, if you are unable to engage them in exciting, getting them excited, you probably will lose them.
So what I think is very unique about this lesson is the questions we ask, the different perspectives that each student have, and also the time that the teacher has to bring up his own unique examples, real-life examples, which I think ultimately is still what we are looking out for. Because how we want to apply this knowledge in a real-world context, I think that is something very unique, especially to this class and this flipped classroom concept.
And I think that because we had the e-lecture before class, so in class we have like more time for like hands-on learning, like doing like role plays or like case studies. And I think this really enhances our learning. Yeah, it's more effective for us, I feel.
I find that this course is very interesting because there is the online component. So we actually study beforehand before we come to class, and we get to have more discussion time. And this really helps to allow us to learn from one another because we get to hear what other people think, and yeah, we get to learn from each other.
Yeah, and I think opposed to like traditional lectures is a lot more useful because it's not as boring when you just go in and you have to listen to the lecturers all the time, whereas when you come into class, there's a lot more scope for one-on-one discussion with your professors and also among your group mates, so it's a lot better, I guess.
Well, I think discussions is really when you learn the most. It's when you actually get to voice your opinion and also to hear someone else's opinion, because I think the confrontation of those opinions actually builds up the knowledge, not just for you, for everyone else. So you can actually even challenge what material you're learning and even possibly take it to a higher level.
What we have achieved after going through this transformation. Number one is engagement with students. So what do I mean by engagement with students? So since the contents is outside the class, when they are actually coming to the class on a face-to-face context, now the focus is really about getting them engaged in terms of applied learning. So we do that through activities, active learning activities. So they actually do in small groups, and then we do a class discussion, and that there would be peer learning among the groups. Now, that engages them because a lot of time they do hands-on, means that they get involved in the learning rather than the instructor is up on the stage talking. Now, I think this is where learning happens, because when they are doing the active learning, they have differing opinions. Differing opinions could emerge among the groups, and that's perfectly fine. And then we actually have peer learning where groups contents are being exchanged, where the other group would then comment on another group on their outcomes, on their deliverables before the instructor moderates.